Hey, good to see you guys tonight. Welcome to the Freedom Forum. It is a place for moms to be able to find amazing strategies to help themselves become just their best version of who they are, and to gain strategies to help their children to have school success and to win at life. So tonight, the subject is your child's irritating behavior is a sign. And so I'm going to share a few things, but before I do, my name is Anita Gibson. I am a coach, speaker, and educational strategist, and I have just the privilege of having coached many families through their academic journey and helped parents to gain the tools that they needed to ensure their students had academic success. And so today I want to talk about your child's irritating behavior. Now, since we had 3 children, I know about irritating behavior. And I will tell you, and I have said this before, that I was not the most, let's see, how can I put it? I didn't begin my motherhood journey as the most gracious mom. I definitely struggled with anger. And my children experienced some of that until God helped me to understand that's not what He needed in order to help them to grow. And so the first question I want to ask you about that irritating behavior, you know, the one that just as soon as it starts, you're just like, you're cringing and you're trying to keep yourself together, and you keep yourself together for a while, but eventually you just kind of can't take it anymore, you know, and then you're fussing at them and you're trying to get them to stop whatever it is. You know, that behavior? Yeah, that one. Well, it's actually showing you something. And I have 2 things I want to share about that. And the first thing I want to say is it's actually showing you, Mom, an area that you need to gain patience in. Boy, when the Holy Spirit whispered that in my ear, I was like, you've got to be kidding. Patient? I want them to stop. And it's like, this is not about patience, God. You know, this is about disobedience. This is about, them being out of control. And God said, no. You're missing the point. I'm allowing that behavior right now because I'm teaching you patience. And I want you to gain self-control. And so I'm actually allowing that behavior because I want it to trigger what's really in your heart. Hey, yeah, Natalie, your life. Oh, good. I don't feel so bad. I'm not alone. Yeah, so God was like, I really want, don't convict me. I really want you to get, Anita, that the behavior is not about your child. The behavior is about you. And I want you to take a look at what's coming out of your heart. When that baby is bothering you, when they're doing that thing that just makes you want to just go off, I want you to take a look at that behavior. And you're so focused in on what they're doing that's irritating you, you really have not actually had the opportunity to take a look at your own behavior. And so I began to realize that thing, that irritating behavior that God allowed that child to have, it was drawing stuff out of my heart. Oh, that was ugly. Because I wanted to say things like, shut up and sit down and be quiet. And in our house, shut up was a bad word. And we told them that they couldn't use it. But there were days when I wanted to scream it from the rooftops. But I knew I couldn't do that because I had to be the example. And so I couldn't have a meltdown. I'm training them to not have one. So how do I end up as the parent being the one having the meltdown? And it's so funny because sometimes as a parent, when we're having that meltdown, we think we're justified because of the child's behavior, but we're not. God is after what's coming out of our heart. Because, exactly, Tom, someone has to be in control. And the one who really needs to be in control is God. And as he began to control my heart and allowed me to feel that uncomfortable, out of control feeling. And Tom, you really brought up a good point, because my problem really was that I needed to be in control. I felt so uncomfortable when I was out of control. That was really getting to the root of what was bothering me. That child positioned me to be in a place where I was out of control, and I didn't like it, and I wasn't going to stand for it. And as God began to show me my own heart, I began to see that some of those behaviors that irritated me, there actually was really nothing wrong with them. Some of them, it was, they were out of control sometimes, but to be honest with you, that's right, Tom, it's the fruit of the Spirit. To be honest with you, a lot of the things that irritated me, there was nothing wrong with them. There was something wrong with me. And so before you jump on them about that thing that's irritating you, I challenge you, I encourage you. Thank you guys for the hearts. I encourage you to take a look at what's really going on and make sure the issue is really not your own heart. That's number one. The other thing you want to check out with that irritating behavior is that it may be an indicator of future purpose. I had a family that I coached, and there was a little boy in the family. Thanks for the hearts, guys. And in this family, this little boy, maybe he was 3 or 4. He would constantly go around breaking up this mom's stuff. It was always her things that like were gadgets and things around the house, the remote control, or, and he would take them apart. And then she'd come in the room and her stuff was all broke up, and she was so frustrated. And so she came to me, and it was like, Miss Anita, I don't know what to do with this child. I mean, this behavior is just out of hand. He's just destroying stuff in the house. And so as she talked to me about it, she talked to me about the kind of things that he was breaking up. The Lord gave me a thought. What if this little boy is not just breaking up stuff to be bad, but what if God has created him to be an engineer, and he has an insatiable need to know how things work? And so I said, let's test out this theory. I want you to go to the thrift store, and I want you to buy old gadgets and things that old blender, or, old, tape recorder, or anything like that. Something that he can take apart and reverse engineer and put it back together. And let's see if he has stuff around the house that he can break, that he can pull apart, that he can observe, look at, and discover, if he will stop breaking up the stuff in your house. And sure enough, she brought the stuff from the thrift store, and he began to pull that stuff apart and put it back together. Some of the stuff he fixed, and we found out that she had an engineer on her hands. And so in order for that irritating behavior of breaking her stuff up to stop, she began to put in place little boxes, discovery boxes, centers, places where he actually could put stuff together, pull stuff apart, and it was okay because it was his. And she found that she could actually support his love, and that young man is heading towards becoming an engineer. He's actually in the 10th grade now, and he is registering for college classes in the fall. Amazing. Good. Awesome. Awesome. And so the thing that irritates you, sometimes we get so focused on the thing we're missing. One, is it something that God is trying to show us in our own heart? Or two, is it actually an indicator of future purpose? Let me give you another example. Our daughter was a chatterbox. She talked from the moment she got up to the moment she went to bed. Oh, Tom, you call your grandson baby engineer. That's awesome. Oh, Natalie. Yes. So Natalie's asking, she's saying she needs something for Arden's bin, but she feels so lost. What can she do? So sometimes you don't see it right away. So what you do is you bring different kinds of things into the home, and you just kind of pay attention and you watch. You watch the things that they like, you watch the things that they do, and eventually you'll start to see a pattern. Some children present right away, very young with it, and then others it takes time. But as you continue to introduce things to them around the house, outside, on trips and different things like that, you will eventually begin to see what the bend is. As I was saying about Lauren, she was a chatterbox. I had to prepare my mind in the mornings when Lauren got up, because she was a force to be reckoned with. And her brain was just so big and so strong that she was always thinking. And not only was she thinking, but she was verbal and she talked. I don't even remember teaching her how to read. I mean, this child was just overwhelming. I mean, they had to go have nap time every day. And when they got old enough and they didn't go to sleep anymore, we called it quiet time, because they absolutely had to lay down, because my brain could not take the constant chatter. It was very irritating. And there were times when I truly would have loved to just take some tape and put it over her mouth. But I knew that wasn't a good thing. There were times when I would have loved to just said, "Would you shut up?" But I knew that would have just bruised her spirit. And so God did work on me again. And he said, "So what's the problem, Anita?" I'm like, that child, she just keeps talking and talking and talking. And he said, "Listen. But I got things to do, God. I got to go here. I got to do this. I got to do that." He said, "Listen. In fact, learn to listen. The more you learn to listen, you're going to hear some amazing things, and you're going to connect with her in a way that when it's time for her to be a teenager and there's all these other voices coming, she is going to be able to stay in the right path, because she's learned to connect with your voice. And because she knows that there is someone at home, her mom and dad, who really love her, who hear her, who think what she has to say is important, even if it's lots and lots of words." You have to find outlets for those children like that, to be able to have a space. So Lauren, we put her in different things where she could actually, where talking was good, and where she could, when she was doing her school, as most of you know, I was a homeschool mom. She may have had to do presentations, or we did things when she was learning something in ways that actually worked with that verbal skill. And that child grew up to be a foreign service officer. She loves languages. She learned Vietnamese in, I think, maybe about a few months, maybe 4 months. She had to learn French in maybe 4 or 5 months. And then she actually went to live in an African country called Togo, where she had to literally talk to the natives fluently in French. And then she went to Vietnam for 2 years, where she actually had to talk to the natives in Vietnamese. And she loves people. So she was a visa officer, and she had to talk to people and figure out if it was okay for them to get a visa to come to the States. So she had to ask questions, and she was very social. And all of that was coming out when she was just a wee little girl, and she was driving her mama crazy. But thank God I figured out that irritating behavior was about me and me not being patient enough, that God was trying to work more patience in me, that he was trying to give me self-control, that he was trying to teach me how to listen to my child, because there would be others who will listen if I did not. And he showed me her purpose and then gave me tools to be able to figure out how to help strengthen that thing so that she could become the woman that she is. And she has another sister who is just as fabulous and has a whole different story. And I'll tell you guys that one too some other time. But I wanted to say that if you want to learn how to identify future promise in your child, so you can get them involved in activities and help them to move towards the purpose that God intended for them, I have a training that's coming up. It's going to be coming up in the next month or so, in about 4 weeks, maybe just a little bit more. And so I'll tell you more about it as we get near to the date. But if you would like to get on my mailing list, we're going to put a link up for you. And if you would like to click on that link, it's going to give you a freemium. It's a, what do you call it? An infographic that is called 7 Must-Haves for School Success. And I would love for you guys to get that, and then you'll be on my list so I can email you. I can let you know when this class is coming up for parents who want to learn how to find their child's strengths, their gifts, their abilities, and the resources that are already in your family and around you so that you can make sure your child wins. There it is. There's the link. The bit.ly//must-have for students. Check it out, guys. All right. Well, I hope you never look at the irritating behaviors your children are doing again exactly the same. I hope you take the time to just think a minute to ask God, is there something that you're saying to me? And is there something that you want me to do? I'm privileged to be here tonight. My name is Anita Gibson. I'm a coach, speaker, educational strategist, and I am so thankful for you. Thank you for how you care for your children. Thank you that you cared enough to even listen to what I had to say today. I pray that God would bless you in ways and your children in ways that literally blow your mind. Love you guys. Yes, and there it is again. Thank you. The link is in the comments right now. Appreciate the hearts. I really do.